So you can see the first pieces of Dynamat laid in here, just to give you an idea. It butts up against that little riser piece at the front of the trunk area, laying up against the left wheel well. And then on this right side, I'll have to trim this right piece because it extends beyond what I need. See there? So I'll just cut that with a pair of scissors, cut that to fit, drape it over, and then put it on the wheel wells as well. I definitely want to get it in these depression areas, little boxes, and then what normally you would call the spare tire well, but it's not on the Vette. And line those pieces. So I basically want to get those flat surfaces covered with the Dynamat, and that should help with the sound resonance, reducing that quite a bit. Now, through trial and error, I found that the best way to put in these panels is to first pre-cut the panel to size and then peel off the paper backing and then place the cut piece in place as close to the right position. Sometimes I'd have to pull it off to get it back in position again, and that's fine. And then always sizing the piece first as best I can, trimming as necessary, and then peeling the backing off to get it in place. Here you can see I'm getting this bin covered, using that roller to get all the nooks and crannies, get it the flat surfaces, and then making sure the corners are done and nice and tight. Now here we've got a flat panel, putting that down in place. We're lining up against the left wheelhouse, using the roller to flatten out the main part, and then you're also using that roller to get that groove, that trough area. So making sure I'm getting good coverage on the top, the sides, the bottom, and then you can see the panel actually came up a little short after I did that. Left taillight area, putting it in place, using the roller again, pre-cut panel, peel the backing off and then put it in place, and then using the scissors in this case to cut a little trim off the top where it was a little bit too long. Right side, peel off the backing, get it in place. It's already pre-cut, and I've already notched out a couple areas for the wire clips using the roller, flattening out the center section first and then working it each way. And then hand tight in that case to get the corners down tight. And here you can see I've already got that angled piece in, as well as got the flat covered, a little corner piece that's on the wheelhouse. And this is the back panel, the whole back panel that faces, you know, obviously the back of the car between the taillights. Started at the center section, put one flat down, got the grooves, then started working out to the sides from there. And you can see that full coverage. Still got a bit to go. And then the bottom of the very trough, that was a hard part, a lot of little pieces to cut. Now on this flat angled panel, I found that the best way to do this was to butt the one up against the left side, it could be either side, smooth the flat out on the top, get that angled edge and then getting the trough and then bending it up. And so I'm kind of like peeling the paper back as I go. Then getting the next surface on top, then the angled surface down, the bottom trough, angled surface up, and the next flat. And so working it that way from left to right. I ended up short on the right hand side and then had to put a filler piece in. But that's the best way I found to do those angled surfaces. Covering the wheelhouse. Got my strip cut to size, do the rear part, still got some of the paper attached, and the longer pieces, the bigger pieces, peeling off the paper as I go. So get it in place. If I use that whole big panel and stick it in place, it might get wrongly positioned and peeling it back off can be a pain. So I found that peeling off a little bit of the paper, getting it positioned, and then working it towards that section. Here I've got to trim those corners with the scissors as that square piece basically is trying to fit on a rounded corner. Trimming here to fit the bracket, that riser bracket that goes from the wheelhouse to below the trunk area. and then again using the roller to wrap around the corner. I don't know that there's any great place to start in doing the job. You pick up a spot and you start. Patch piece on the right wheelhouse, cut yours measured to size, and then the inside, as it wraps around the corner, you know, your shape changes a little bit, so you've got to trim it off a little bit. The top needs a little bit less, so a little bit of overlapping panels using the roller. Again, getting those corners down really tight. New box time. So there's the box that comes in. 9 sheets, 18 by 32. There it lays out, and there we go. I used 12 sheets to finish the job. Left side, right side is already done, so now putting on the left side, you can see I put the bottom on first, use the roller to get that bottom section, start peeling the paper, roll it up as I go. Again, that's a technique I found that works better on the larger pieces. I did have to trim the top edge a little bit, otherwise it would have been too long. I didn't want to actually roll it all the way over. I figured it would be easier to trim it and put a piece on the back. And then getting the little nooks and crannies tight with that little roller. And then a center section on the tunnel. Fairly decent structure on the tunnel, but I figured what the heck, we'll just throw a little piece in there, help any sound attenuation that's going to give us. And now here we've got the whole job done. You can see I've got good coverage within those grooves. So instead of just laying the panel flat, or the Dynamat flat across the top, I've actually cut it, fitted it into each of those troughs. Good coverage on the wheelhouse. And again, you're seeing the depression areas. Those are covered. It's not just sitting on top of the flat part. We're going to get good coverage to stop the whole panel from vibrating. There's a piece of foam left over from the carpet liner that goes in there. Just left it in place. And there you can see in that bottom area. That was tough trying to piece that together, that curved area at the bottom. And there we have it. All told, it's about 33 pounds of Dynamat. Not too bad.